One day I'll marry you, she promised. 6 years later, she wasn't even human. Lieutenant Jake Morrison stood at the observation deck of the orbital station, watching Earth spin below him like a blue marble lost in the darkness of space, and he remembered her face, the way she smiled at him 6 years ago when they were just kids in college before everything changed, before the war, before the aliens came. Her name was Amy Carter, and she had been his everything back then, with her bright green eyes and that laugh that could make him forget about every problem in the world. And they had promised each other forever on that last night before he enlisted in the newly formed Space Defense Corps, when humanity first discovered they were not alone in the universe. The first contact had been peaceful, at least on the surface, and the alien coalition called the Sindari came offering technology, trade, and friendship. But humanity soon learned that not all species in the galaxy believed in peace, and when the Krellocs invaded the outer colonies, it was Amy who convinced Jake to join the military, to protect their world, to protect their future, together, one day. I'll marry you, she had whispered against his chest that night, holding him close, as if she could keep him safe through sheer willpower, and he had believed her because Amy Carter never broke a promise. But then she disappeared. It happened during the Battle of Proxima 3, when the Krellocs fleet overwhelmed the human defenses, and Amy had been working as a civilian engineer on the colony, helping to build the shield generators that were supposed to protect them. And when the station fell silent, Jake spent months searching through casualty lists, refugee camps, and military databases. But Amy Carter was simply gone, as if she had never existed at all. The other soldiers told him to move on, that she was probably dead. That space was vast and cruel, and that holding on to hope would only destroy him. But Jake couldn't let go because he knew Amy, and Amy was a survivor. And somewhere deep in his gut, he felt that she was still out there waiting for him. 6 years passed, and Jake rose through the ranks, becoming one of humanity's best pilots, known for his reckless bravery and his uncanny ability to survive impossible situations. And the war against the Krellocs had turned into a grinding stalemate, with both sides exhausted and desperate for any advantage they could find. Then everything changed when High Command received a strange transmission from deep space. The signal was encrypted with human codes, but the origin point was in Krellocs territory, and when the intelligence officers finally cracked it, they found something impossible. A video message from Amy Carter, but she looked different somehow. Her skin had a faint luminescent quality, and her eyes seemed to glow with an inner light that hadn't been there before. Jake, I know you're alive, she said in the recording, and I need you to trust me and meet me at the coordinates I'm sending. And I know this sounds crazy, but I can end this war and I can bring peace to both sides. But I need you to come alone and bring no weapons, because where I'm taking you, weapons won't help anyone. High Command refused to let him go naturally, calling it an obvious trap. But Jake had spent 6 years waiting for this moment, and he stole a small scout ship that very night and punched in the coordinates Amy had sent him and jumped into the darkness between stars. Coordinates led him to an uncharted system with a massive space station that seemed to be built from both human and alien technology, fused together in ways that shouldn't have been possible. And when he docked his ship, Amy was waiting for him at the airlock, and she was more beautiful than he remembered, but also fundamentally different in ways he couldn't quite explain. Jake, she breathed and threw her arms around him, and for a moment everything was perfect, and he held her and smelled her hair and felt her heartbeat against his chest. But then he noticed that her heartbeat was wrong. The rhythm was too slow, too steady, as if her body was running on different rules than human biology should allow. What happened to you? He asked, pulling back to look at her face, and she smiled sadly and took his hand and led him deeper into the station, past rooms filled with strange equipment and aliens he didn't recognize, until they reached a vast chamber where a being of pure light waited for them. This is the Keeper, she explained, and her voice had an echo to it now, as if multiple voices were speaking in harmony. And when the Krellocs destroyed Proxima 3, I was dying. Jake and the Keeper found me and offered me a choice, and I could die as a human, or I could live as something more, as a bridge between species, as proof that different forms of life could merge and evolve together. The being of light pulsed, and suddenly Jake understood, not through words, but through pure feeling and emotion flooding his mind, and he saw Amy's transformation. How the Keeper had merged her consciousness with advanced alien technology. How she had become something new. Something that was neither fully human nor fully alien, but a perfect synthesis of both. She had spent 6 years traveling the galaxy learning about the hundreds of species that made up the cosmic community. And she had discovered the truth about the war, and the Krelloks weren't evil. They were terrified because their son was dying, and they needed new worlds to survive, and the Sindari had been lying to humanity, hiding the truth to manipulate both sides into destroying each other, so the Sindari could claim the territory afterward. "I can stop this," she said, and her eyes glowed brighter now, "and I have technology that can save the Krelloks' homeworld, and I have proof of the Sindari's deception, and I can give humanity the truth. But I needed you here, Jake, because they won't listen to me alone, but they'll listen to the hero pilot Jake Morrison, and together we can end this war." He wanted to be angry, wanted to feel betrayed, that she had become this thing that wasn't quite Amy anymore. But when he looked into her eyes, he still saw her, the girl who had promised to marry him, the woman who never broke her word. And he realized that she had kept her promise in the only way she could, by becoming something powerful enough to save both of them, to save everyone. "So what do we do?" he asked. And she smiled, that same smile he remembered from 6 years ago. "We go home," she said, "and we tell them the truth, and we save the galaxy." And Jake Morrison looked at this being who was and wasn't Amy Carter, this impossible, beautiful creature who had transcended humanity itself to keep her promise, and he took her hand without hesitation, because he had made a promise too, and together they walked back to his ship, ready to change the course of history, ready to prove that love could survive, even the transformation from human to something far greater.